How many times have we covered breaches, hacks, security incidents that were initiated by non-secure S3 bucket? How many times do you think? Why do we constantly see Amazon security issues with S3 buckets as part of our data breaches? Because the AWS, Amazon Web Services default IAM roles found to enable lateral movement and cross-service exploitation. And finally, we have info. It's right here. Let's find out why these things are so insecure. Let me zoom in here as best as I can. Cybersecurity researchers have discovered risky default identity and access management roles impacting Amazon Web Services that could open the door for attackers to escalate privileges, manipulate other AWS services, and in some cases, even fully compromise AWS accounts. These roles, often created automatically or recommended during setup, grant overly broad permissions such as full S3 access. The default roles silently introduce attack paths that allow privilege escalation across cross-service access and even potential account compromise. Can we begin to see how this happens? Can we begin to see why I keep asking for the tech industry to do better? Why do I constantly read news articles where S3 buckets are accessible to the tune of sometimes terabytes of data because of stuff like this? And when we constantly make fun of the people who create these cloud storage buckets of information and we go, can't you get even default permissions right? No, they can't. Even Amazon themselves can't. This should be basic security stuff that people should know. Programmers, DevOps, sysadmins, etc. You should know some level of basic things. For example, never assume that the defaults are good enough in terms of security. That should be a basic. And if you don't know what the details are about a particular type of configuration, that's okay. Just assume it's wrong and go figure it out. The cloud security firm said it identified security issues and default roles created by AWS services like SageMaker, I've used that one before, Glue, EMR, and Lightsail, I've used that one before. A similar flaw has also been unearthed in a popular open source framework called Ray, which automatically creates a default role with Amazon S3 full access policy. So we have third-party packages, once again, leading back to why I keep harping on not relying on third-party packages, libraries, frameworks, paradigms, obfuscations to solve problems for you, because you make the assumption that things are tested and solved, and you have no idea if they actually are. And here's for just one more piece of evidence, proof that these third-party systems don't do what you think they do or what they say they do, and you should never trust them. We've leaned too much into default trusting these things. We don't even know how to ask the right questions about whether or not they're doing what they should be able to do. If someone can get access to this kind of information, then they can essentially just kind of hijack your entire infrastructure. And when they can hijack your entire infrastructure, it means that they can deploy things under the domains or infrastructures that people legitimately use, and the legitimate consumers can't tell the difference. They're all open for attack in all kinds of ways. Amazon S3 full access, I recognize this permission level because I've had to use it before for internal systems that talk like in a closed network, and they are right. You don't even need to guess the bucket names remotely. Once you have that, Amazon S3 full access, you have access to everything. You can list all the S3 information out, and then Bob's your uncle. So this is a huge, serious issue. First of all, the fact that Amazon even allows for this to happen as a default thing, but also because we have third-party things like SageMaker or Ray or whatever automatically generating these things on top of that. And that's not the only place where it ends, because a lot of systems that run websites on these services will also have third-party packages that are not simply for infrastructure control. So, like for example, Ray, Glue here, SageMaker, where was the other one? CloudFormation? Yeah, CloudFormation. All of these are like template systems where you kind of, for example, think of like a JSON file, which is that you define the way that all of these things communicate together. Then you as a consumer, if you're a consumer watching right now, not a programmer, you go on website, you enter info ends up somewhere in the cloud that's run by the company that you have provided your info to. There are all kinds of third-party things that programmers and systems administrators and developer operations, people that put these pieces of the environment together use in order to auto-generate the infrastructure. And all of those third-party things, not just what's on this article, but also within the programming paradigms, also create roles and infrastructure and manage them and push information to them and so on and so forth. And they are all ripe for insecure practices. And we have completely absconded our responsibilities to these third-party systems, thinking surely they are thoroughly tested, surely they are secure, surely they are up to date. Who the hell is Shirley? I keep talking about her. I don't even know her. But unfortunately, the tech industry has been captured by this lazy, I don't know, status quo. Everything's great. It's never been better. Nothing's wrong with what we're doing. My feelings, though, my developer experience, though, all of this stupid crap, instead of actually thinking about what the hell you're doing and how these things logically impact you and your customers and your family members and so on. And I've covered this to such length on these streams, it seems like it's never going to end. So here we go. We have insight into what the hell is happening. Now, there is also a reference to Microsoft Azure, because AWS is not the only company that we have seen have insecure cloud storage. Microsoft Azure comes pre-installed, like Azure storage here. It comes pre-installed on Microsoft Azure AI, this utility for Azure storage. And it allows an unprivileged user on a Linux machine with this Azure storage utility to escalate their privileges to root. So the stuff that Microsoft even provides as utilities to manage their cloud storage simply allows you to just escalate yourself to root. So Amazon is not the only victim here, if you want to look at it that way. You can Google search default password for a lot of things and just get in. Can you just get paid to be lazy? Apparently you can. Just go be a React developer. It's crazy. Imagine thinking blob storage isn't a problem. This should be basic stuff. This should be basics. We have lost our way. It's no wonder that consumers are fed up with the stuff that we're producing. We can't even make logical arguments about why we're doing what we're doing anymore. It's all about our feelings. It's all about what feels good, what our intuition says about things.